Hello everyone. Now let's have a quick recap about digestive system. So digestive system includes the gastrointestinal tract and accessory digestive organs. The gastrointestinal tract or alimentary canal is a continuous tube that extends from the mouth to the anus. Organs of gastrointestinal tract include the mouth, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine. The accessory digestive organs include the teeth, tongue, salivary glands, liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. So, functions of digestive system: ingestion, taking food into the mouth; secretion, release of water, acid, buffers, and enzymes into the lumen of the GI tract; mixing and propulsion, churning and propulsion of food through the GI tract; digestion, mechanical and chemical breakdown of food; absorption, passage and assimilation of digested products from the GI tract into the blood and lymph; defecation, the elimination of feces from the GI tract. The digestive activities in the GI. In mouth, the mouth is formed by the cheek, hard and soft palates, lips and tongue. Cut functions: cut, tear and pulverized food by the activity of teeth; secrete saliva from salivary glands that softens, moistens and dissolves food and cleanses mouth and teeth; salivary amylase present in saliva splits starch into smaller fragments; secrete lingual lipase from lingual glands; in pharynx receives a bolus from the oral cavity and passes it into the esophagus; then in esophagus receives a bolus from the pharynx and moves it into the stomach. This requires relaxation of the upper esophageal sphincter and secretion of mucus. In stomach, the stomach has four main regions: the cardia, fundus, body, and pylorus. The cardia surrounds the superior opening of the stomach. The rounded portion superior to and to the left of the cardia is the fundus. Inferior to the fundus is the large central portion of the stomach called the body. The region of the stomach that connects to the duodenum is the pylorus. So, function: mixes saliva, food, and gastric juice to form chyme. Serves as a reservoir for food before release into small intestine. Then secretes gastric juice, which contains HCl, secretion of partial cells that kills bacteria and denatures protein; pepsin, secretion of chief cells that begins the digestion of proteins; then intrinsic factor, secretion of parietal cells and aids absorption of vitamin B12; and gastric lipase, acid digestion of triglycerides; then secretes gastrin from G cells into blood, which stimulates parietal cells to secrete HCl and chief cells to secrete pepsinogen; contracts lower esophageal sphincter, increase motility of the stomach, and relaxes pyloric sphincter. So, in small intestine, regions of the small intestine include the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Segmentations mix chyme with digestive juice and bring food into contact with the mucosa for absorption. Peristalsis propels chyme through the small intestine. Complete the digestion of carbohydrate, protein, and lipid. Begins the completes digestion of nucleic acid. Absorb only 90% of nutrients and water that pass through the digestive system. In large intestine, regions of the large intestine are cecum, colon, rectum, and anal canal. Haustral churning, peristalsis, and mass peristalsis drive the contents of the colon into the rectum. Bacteria in the large intestine convert proteins to amino acids, break down amino acids, and produce some vitamin B vitamins and vitamin K, absorbing some water, ions, and vitamins, forming feces, defecating, emptying the rectum. So, function of accessory digestive organs: teeth, cut, tear, and pulverize food to reduce solids to smaller particles for swallowing; tongue, maneuvers food for mastication, shapes food into a bolus; And use food. Food agglutination affects taste and touch sensations and initiates digestion of triglycerides. Then salivary glands produces saliva, which softens, moistens, and dissolves food, cleanses mouth and teeth, and initiates the digestion of starch. Saliva is viscous, colorless fluid and a pH between 6.2 and 7.5. The major enzyme present in saliva is ptyalin, which is an alpha amylase, optimal activity at pH 6.8. It also contains lingual lipase secreted by Ebner's glands in the tongue. Ebner's glands. Liver produces bile, which is needed for the emulsification and absorption of what lipid in the small intestine. Gallbladder stores and concentrates bile and releases it into the small intestine. Then pancreas, pancreatic juice buffers acidic gastric juice in chyme, creating the proper pH for digestion in the small intestine. Stops the action of pepsin from the stomach and contains enzymes that digest carbohydrates, proteins, triglycerides, and nucleic acids. Hormones that control digestion. Gastrin, site of secretion by enteroendocrine G cells, located mainly in the mucosa of pyloric antrum of stomach. Major effects: promote secretion of gastric juice, increase gastric motility, and promote growth of gastric mucosa. Then secretin, site of secretion by enteroendocrine S cells in the mucosa of the duodenum. Major effects: stimulate secretion of pancreatic juice and bile that are rich in HCO3- bicarbonate ions. Cholecystokinin or CCK, site of secretion by enteroendocrine CCK cells in the mucosa of the small intestine. CCK is also released in the brain. Major effects include stimulates secretion of pancreatic juice rich in digestive enzymes, causes ejection of bile from the gallbladder and opening of the sphincter of the hepatopancreatic ampulla and induce satiety. Then phases of digestion. Digestive activity occur in three overlapping phases: cephalic phase, gastric phase, and intestinal phase. During the cephalic phase of digestion, salivary glands secrete saliva and gastric glands secrete gastric juice in order to prepare the mouth and stomach for food that is about to be eaten. The presence of food in the stomach causes the gastric phase of digestion, which promotes gastric juice secretion and gastric motility. During the intestinal phase, first phase, cephalic phase. During the cephalic phase of digestion, salivary glands secrete saliva and gastric glands secrete gastric juice in order to prepare the mouth and stomach for food that is about to be eaten. The presence of food in the stomach causes gastric phase of digestion, which promote gastric juice secretion and gastric motility. During the intestinal phase of digestion, food is digested in the small intestine. In addition, gastric motility and gastric secretion decrease in order to slow the exit of chyme from the stomach, which prevents the small intestine from being overloaded with more chyme than it can handle. The activities that occur during the various phases of digestion are coordinated by neural pathways and by hormones. First, salivary amylase, salivary glands, starch to maltose, maltotriose, and alpha dextrins. Lingual lipase, lingual glands in the tongue, triglycerides and other lipids, fatty acids and glycerols. Pepsin, stomach cells, protein, peptides. Gastric lipase, stomach cheese cells, triglycerides. Yes, pancreatic amylase, pancreatic azina cells, trypsin, chymotrypsin, elastase, carboxypeptidase, pancreatic lipase, ribonuclease, deoxyribonuclease, alpha dextrinase, maltase, sucrase, lactase, enterokinase, aminopeptidase, and dipeptidase, nucleosidases and phosphatases. Nucleosidases and phosphatases, dipeptidase, aminopeptidase, enterokinase, lactase, sucrase, maltase, alpha dextrinase, deoxyribonuclease, ribonuclease, pancreatic lipase, carboxypeptidase, elastase, chymotrypsin, and trypsin. Along with that, pancreatic amylase and gastric lipase, pepsin, lingual lipase, salivary amylase, etc.